Hi, I'm Jamie Proviance. You know, on any given night in America, in every small town and big city, there are quite a few people grilling chicken breasts. It's one of our most popular dishes on the grill, so I thought it'd be worthwhile to take some time to talk about how to do it right. There are two issues really. The two most important issues are temperature and timing. You have to understand that you're dealing with a relatively lean piece of meat. A boneless, skinless chicken breast like I have here has very little fat. It's not a steak. A steak you can grill over high temperature and still have a lot of juiciness left in it. A chicken breast should be done over medium, direct medium heat. Direct means that the fire is directly below the food. Medium means it's medium. It's somewhere, if you've got a thermometer, between 350 and 450 degrees. Now, besides being very lean, they also are fairly bland, so they're going to need some seasoning at least. I'm going to put a little bit of oil on, not just for the sticking, to prevent sticking, but also for flavor. And that's why I like to use an extra virgin olive oil as opposed to a pure olive oil or something even more neutral like a canola or a vegetable oil. The oil will also help the seasoning stick. You want to apply fairly liberally kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper. I like the flavor of kosher salt over regular iodized table salt. It doesn't have any of the chemicals in it. And I say liberally because some of it will fall off. You can figure, 10–20% of it will go through the grate. And then a fair amount, about a half as much of the freshly ground black pepper. And of course you can build from here if you want to add your chili powder or your dried herbs or your fresh herbs, fresh garlic, granulated garlic, whatever you like. But I'm going to stick with something really simple. Okay, so I've got a nice even coating of the seasoning and the oil. Now, let's talk about the grill. This grill has been preheating for about 15 minutes, and that's really important for a few reasons. Number one, I'm going to get to that proper temperature. I like to preheat on high and then bring the temperature down to the medium zone that I like. By preheating on high, I make sure that I loosen up any bits and pieces that have stuck on there from any previous grilling. And the grate has to be hot enough that it does start to sizzle on the surface of the meat. That's where you're going to create a fair amount of flavor. So a low heat would do very little for you in terms of flavor. A high heat would dry out the meat. Medium's going to be just perfect. I'm going to put these on the grill skin side down. Obviously these breasts don't have skin on them, but the side that used to have the skin is going down first. Basically because that is a smoother side, it's going to mark more evenly, more beautifully, and that's going to be the presentation side, the one that faces you on the plate. Really important to close the lid as soon as possible. That'll help to maintain the temperature on the grate and inside the grill. You'll actually start cooking the side facing up while the side facing down cooks as well. So the next question is, when do you turn them? Well, take a look at these. They are ready to turn. And I can tell because the color has gone to an opaque white color all the way around the rim. I can also tell because the chicken is releasing very easily from the grate. If it was sticking, that would tell me that I'd have to leave it alone and let it go for another minute or so. So I'll just pick these up and turn them. Total cooking time is about 8 minutes. I'm going to go about 5 minutes on the first side and 3 minutes on the second. Once again, keep the lid closed. Now, perhaps the most important question of all, when are they done? Well, they're done when they're done. Now, the timing in the recipe should be a really good indication. Also, the firmness of the meat will be another good indication. It should feel firm but not hard. It should just give a little bit, particularly on the thickest part of the breast. Now, if you're new to this and you don't feel comfortable with the poking test here, by all means, just take one of them off, bring it to your board, and then turn it over. This is not the presentation side, and just open it up a little bit and check to see if the meat is as it should be. And this is looking great. It's opaque all the way through, but there's still juiciness. So at that point, you want to poke it again and say, okay, that's what it feels like when it's done. That way, when you go back the next time you cook chicken breasts, you won't have to cut into it. So there you have it, one of America's all-time favorites. On any given night, someone in every town is having grilled chicken breasts. And I hope they're as good as these.